Louisiana Voodoo story. I'm going to tell y'all a story today about my family and its Shreveport ties. And one of the stories that I heard from my uncle while in Shreveport, Louisiana. So y'all know that my dad is from Shreveport, and anytime we had a family reunion, it was always in Shreveport. So when I was young, we were always going back and forth from Oklahoma to Shreveport to meet up with family, to have family reunions. Sometimes we would just go down there to get local food from the local market. Well, one time we went down to Shreveport. My whole family went from the ones that lived in Oklahoma. We all traveled to Shreveport to get ready for the family reunion. And I was young around this time. I was probably about 15, 16 years old. So we go down to Shreveport for the family reunion, and mind you, on my dad's side, there's 11 of them. So my dad has 10 siblings. So in total, there's 11 children. And I have an uncle. I'm not going to give his name, but a lot of the men in my family are kind of like womenizers. They're like, they have multiple women. They have different dealings and things like that, that's how they deal with women. So I have this one uncle, and while we were down in Shreveport, he decides to go out on the town, see what's going on the town. My uncle was probably like 30 years old at this time. So he goes out at night, one evening he meets a young lady. So he thinks the lady, she's a pretty lady, he kind of wants to get to know her. So they decide to meet up. She gives my uncle her address, and she tells my uncle, hey, meet me at my home. We're going to hook up, meet up, and we'll get together. So my uncle's like, she's hot. She's fine, dude. Like, I'm finna go holler at this girl. This is what my uncle told my other uncles, his brothers. Like, man, she's so hot. I'm finna go meet up with this girl and see what's up. So my uncle says he pulls up in the driveway. Everything's normal. He knocks on the door, and she lets him in. So when she lets him in the house, this is a black lady. My uncle says she's very beautiful, very pretty. So he was really excited to go out with her. So she lets him in the house. And when she lets him in the house, she says, oh, you can have a seat right here in the front room. I'm just going to go back and get freshened up. And then, I guess they were going to go out or whatever they were going to do. Who knows? So she goes back. She's getting herself together. My uncle's sitting in the living room. He's just waiting. And he's just waiting like, okay, I'm trying to see when she's going to come out. She's getting freshened up. So he says when she comes out the room, she is dressed up and she's walking from the back of the house into the front. Now, as she's walking slowly. And all of a sudden, she's looking beautiful. The outfit she has on is beautiful. But he says all of a sudden, her face starts to change. So her face changes, and she begins to levitate off the floor as she's walking. So it's almost like she's coming towards him, but she's floating. She's floating off the floor. I'm going to show y'all an image kind of like this. So she's floating off the floor, literally floating. So my uncle says, he gasps, he's scared. He's like, he gets up, he gets his shit, and he gets out the front door. He gets out like just in time. He ran out that front door. He got in his car. He just said he just couldn't stop breathing. He hurried up and started his car and drove off. By the time he made it back to where the family was, where we all were, he pulled his brothers aside. He said, man, I went and met up with that woman. I don't know if she was a witch. I don't know if she's a voodoo priest or what she was, but that bitch was floating through the air and she was coming towards me floating and shit like that. My uncle said, shit, never again. Never again. Ain't messing with these Louisiana women. Even though they were Louisiana people too. He said, never again. I ain't messing with these Louisiana bitches. Not no more. It scared the socks off of my uncle. When I tell you it scared the socks off of him, oh my God, that was the funniest story. So of course it got through the whole family. My uncles told my aunts told my grandma, My grandma told us, like, everybody was laughing during the family reunion, laughing about the story that happened to my uncle when he was running away from that woman. He went out on a date with, because she literally started floating in the air. So yeah, these are just some of the stories I have from Louisiana. This was in Shreveport, backwoods, baby. That voodoo shit. Gotta be careful.